Hey everybody, how's it going? I am back with another Star Wars Force Arena video. Now this week I kicked off my Leader of the Week series where I choose one leader, I play them all week, and then the following week I will switch factions and choose a different leader and then keep going. So this week was the first week of the series and I chose Bossk, and basically I just tried different decks, took suggestions from folks, tried to see what I could tweak, what cards I could incorporate that aren't really used that often, and stay tuned to the end because I have a video where I actually use the assault tank and win, so that was nice. But yeah, so I have a couple gameplay videos, a couple decks that I showed, kind of like my niche one that I used, a fun one, and then I kind of suggested one. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Kahns, and let's get started. Alright everybody, so with this new model of videos I'm doing with the Leader of the Week, I chose Bossk first. So there's my man Bossk up there. I started with him when I first started this game. He was my first leader to ever get to level 2. And then once I hit Chromium, I started toying with other leaders, and I really got into 2v2 around that time. But I never really came back to Bossk. I never... he kind of sat on the bench. I was playing other leaders, so he was the one I wanted to start this whole series off because he's the one who started with me in the very beginning. And let me fix this up real quick because I just realized I had. Let's go there. Over here. Alright, so basically this is how I started using him. It's kind of the suggested deck, and this is very similar to what I used in the very beginning when I played Bossk. I think the only difference is I had, where's that? I think I used Probe Droid in place of Stormtroopers. I kind of became that like backup tank when I need to retreat, or if I was about to die I could drop it in there real quick, and it kind of worked out, or to even do kind of like a little mild split push. But that's not what I was doing. So I started with this. It came from a suggestion, and I started playing it, and I was about 50-50 win rate, and so I wasn't really going anywhere. I was still hanging out in the same point range. So I made some tweaks. Someone suggested throwing in the dewback for the Sand Trooper. I tried that a little bit. It wasn't where I like the dual tank, don't get me wrong, because that's where I ended up falling. I was having both the dewback and the light vehicle, but I liked having Sand Trooper with the dewback because they make a nice solid little like push if you just want to send something up there to get something going to try and get them to come in and counter. And so the dewback followed by a Sand Trooper, because they have this basically the same movement speed. Let's real quick, 1.5. 1.7, so very close. So you drop that Sand Trooper behind it, and he'll just clear out what also what the dewback is taking out. So it's a nice little AoE mini push. So I did that. Still wasn't getting too much. It was still kind of 50-50, and I really toyed around with some decks. I had this one where it had heavy gunners, Dioxys. I forget what else. It had ATST. I think also it had dewback. But where I really landed, and this is what you're going to see some gameplay of, is it was light vehicle dewback. Let me see, I have it right here because I don't even remember now since I'm going through all these decks. Here we go. GD8, Nerf gas, Stormtroopers, because I have a decent amount of AoE. I didn't really need the Sand Trooper anymore. But I have to say, Nerf gas is amazing. Ever since they did that little quick patch where they added reducing the attack power as well as attack speed and movement speed, it's amazing. I prefer over stun, especially with Bossk where you use the stun and a snare, and it's such a a perfect tool to use. I love the Nerf gas, and you will see why. And I'll get to my barge deck in a little bit. So let's get into these gameplays. I have 3 replays I'm going to show you. So what I tried to do at least what my game plan was, is especially for Luke, this works really well with Luke because he'll push in. You drop the the nerf gas on him, and then you just worry about clearing out his units, and then start making your counter push. He'll sit there at your turret, whacking away. Now, I think I'm fighting a level 3 Luke here, and just watch how long he sits at that turret and barely does any damage under the nerf gas. Meanwhile, I'm taking out all his troops, and I can make a solid counter push. So here he goes in. He's under nerf gas right now. He's got some troops. Only an old Ben. He's dropping other stuff. Alright, he didn't stay in too long, but any other normal Luke would probably have the turret down to almost half, even maybe like 2/3, but he barely did any damage. And now I have a dewback, a light vehicle, and here I can make a nice solid counter push. So I'm gonna back out here, but look at that, I mean, I'm able to retreat now. I only really had to drop, I think I dropped stormtroopers and some bladesmen to get in there, but I'm now able to back off, reset, gain some energy, and I took out an entire turret. Oh hey look, my play packs are available now, nice. So here I'm resetting and waiting. I know he's going to make another attempt at my top turret, so get my tank rolling in. And another thing too is to have the dewback there, and then you can just drop a light vehicle and bladesman, and that's enough to take out a turret. So of course he drops old Ben here, he takes my dewback. He's going to make another push, so I'm going to drop them too, and watch, here comes the nerf gas again. And look how slow he's moving. I mean, they're going to get this turret, because he's still got troops on the ground. I kind of have to back off. But look how long it's taking him to get that turret. Meanwhile, I took out his other one. And so now I can work clearing out his units. He tries to push in for that turret, but didn't work out. So I'm up 2-1, 30 seconds left. All I have to do is defend. I don't know why I'm just sitting there not getting any of the health packs. Who knows what I was thinking at the end of this match. I guess I just figured I had it won. And I'm sitting there with no health. Like, get some health, buddy. So I know not to use the dewback because he's got old Ben out there, so I threw out the light vehicle to start defending. Get the airstrike. Nerf gas is in there. They barely did any damage. And I just clear out his units. Like, nerf gas is such a nice card now. I mean, I've gotten so used to it this past week playing with it that I started playing with Jyn is now the leader of the week I'm doing this week, that I have to have POW in there because it's almost like another nerf gas. I just drop in when they make their push and they all slow down. Alright, so that was a nice little highlight to kind of show how this deck works. Now the next replay, while doing one of my live streams, there came the question of, do you have to have IG-80 with Bossk? And I responded with no. So I threw in a very similar card, same energy cost. I threw in the Sand Trooper. And you just have to play it a little differently. You just can't drop it in the middle of a swarm and help him take it out. You gotta let him. You gotta make sure he's somewhere where he won't get attacked right away, and he can actually effectively clear them all out. So as you can see, I'm using the same deck, and the only difference is Sand Trooper instead of IG-88. So I gave him a good luck because I see it's someone from Knights of Ren. I see a lot of those guys, and they're really good. So show a little respect. And so, nice value TIE Fighter there. And you're going to see some more nerf gas play. Yeah, it's really nice. So I can work on them blades when I take out true. Oh, he's got a demolitionist. So there you go. I threw the nerf gas. They're moving super slow. Not quite the way I used it with Luke, but it slowed down his push enough to where I could get in and clear out all his units, and I think I get, no, I don't get the kill there, but I put a lot of damage on him. Got a lot of damage on me too, but so halfway through the match, I have a slight advantage. Another demolition is coming in, it looks like, yep. So I throw Bladesman in there and I take him out real quick. Then I hit him with the nerf gas, the snare, and boom, down he goes. And here we come for our nice counter push, and I'm pretty sure I get the turret here, or very close at least. Yeah, so that turret's almost down. So my first death, and he doesn't have very much energy. So as you can see, he had to back off. He would have died just sitting there at that turret. So nice value TIE fighter there, where use it to clear out his units and kill the turret. So that's nice. So yeah, I'm sitting here up a turret. He's got to make a move. He's going up top, so I throw my tank up there. Snare him all in. Bladesman right next to Phase. Take him out, and I can clear his units. You know, yeah, I go into suicide for this, just because I can. I get some nice damage on there, but I think I come in with some nerf gas here now. I mean, 8 seconds left. I know the match is over. I think I tried to real quick get a leader kill, but it doesn't work out. But yeah, good game. So no, to answer that question, you do not need IG-88 if you want to play Bossk. Right? Silent? Alright. Now, for the final part of this, let me get out that deck real quick so I remember exactly how I had it, because it was, we did a couple different scenarios, a lot of which didn't work. And so let me show you the deck here. I incorporated the assault tank. So it's the assault tank. I already got Dewback in there. It's IG-88, nerf gas, Bladesman, the stormtroopers, and instead of TIE fighter, TIE bomber. Now, I had TIE fighter before. I forget what else I had, but it wasn't. I even tried an all epic deck, and no, it failed. So I'll try again this week with something different on the Rebel side. But I actually won with this, and it was nice. So I'm going to show you some gameplay. It was a clutch win. Like, it was one of those, like, right at the end. Let me find it. It was against a Han. I believe it was this match. Yes, we're going to do this one. Now, one thing for me with Bossk, while we're waiting for this match to load up, I like to play defensive with a nice solid counter push with most of my champions. Most people do. But the one thing with Bossk for me is it has to be a counter push after a leader kill. I had a lot of trouble facing Bodhis and really defensive Cassians, especially if they had the turret card. If they had the turret card, I don't think I won at all against it. I couldn't push in enough. The pushes weren't hard enough to take out the turret and start working damage on his actual turret. So for me, playing Bossk, I just couldn't do enough like single target damage to get down his card turret and start doing work on his actual turret. Alright, so starting off with this match, I don't know if you saw that, but snared the Gonk droid right at the end so it didn't blow up. And I'm able to use this assault tank to kind of give me some backup so I can kind of flee. Because, I mean, it has a lot of health. I think it's like 2,500 health. Alright, so right now we're about evenly matched up. I have a little more damage between both turrets, but Han is being very aggressive, which works for this deck. So I have to back up. He's trying to pick me off here. I'm running out of health. Yeah, he's got drop pod, gonk, giga ram. I think he's got a demolitionist. So I'm slowly whittling down his turret, but he's doing the same to me. So I was able to drop the assault tank, and giga ram takes me out. Now look how slow this guy moves. There you go. Like, Giga Ram was down for a good couple seconds before he actually finally decided to turn. So he was able to buy me some time, let me gain some energy so I can make a solid defense against this little push he tries to do. I take out Han. He's got a gonk turret over here, and my counter push up top should be able to take out that turret. So he sends in that drop pod. That's guaranteed to kill. There's no way to not get that kill. He overdoes it with the ion mine, but he got the turret. But now the assault tank. So I get real nervous. I'm pretty sure I die here. Do I die? Very close to dying. But that assault tank is able to take some damage, and yeah, so I feel like I'm about to get screwed here because we're in overtime. I have low health. Han's coming in. He tries to get the kill on me, but I'm able to drop my assault tank to tank the damage from the turret. It ends up taking out Han, and I can make a solid counter push and grab the win. The TIE Bomber was really nice compared to the TIE Fighter because it does more damage to a turret, so I can either use it for turret damage to kind of counter what he uses as a drop pod, and, or if he's making a solid push, I can use it defensively. So yeah, so I was super happy that I can incorporate the assault tank and still pull off a couple wins. I think that was actually the last night I was doing that deck. So week 1 for leader of the week was fantastic. I think I didn't go too high. I think I topped out at like 6,100, but again, I'm not trying to really push. I just want to be able to, I mean, I want to win, but I want to play wacky decks and incorporate wacky cards and different combinations and try odd things out. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Bossk works for me because I'm a very defensive counter push. I'm not a very overly aggressive. If I do tend to get overly aggressive, I usually die. So Bossk works really well for me. He's very much like a Boba Fett, which is someone else I play very well with, where it's kind of about getting that leader kills. But the thing where he lacks compared to Boba is fighting against those very defensive Bodhis and Cassians, because there's not a lot of single target DPS. He has a nice steady DPS, but also with some AoE into it. So yeah, so Bossk was leader of the week number 1. It was a lot of fun to play. I really love playing Bossk. Go figures, right after I finished this the stream last night, we had our Monday morning openings with all the season rewards and co-op rewards. I pulled 3 Bossk cards. It's like, oh, after, so I probably be playing them for a while, but nonetheless, it was still fun. So this was great. Stay tuned. I'm gonna start streaming Jyn this week. I put together this this deck here. It's a lot of fun. I've been winning with it. I've only played maybe like 10 games or so, but I think I've only lost like 2. And I use POW as kind of the same way I'm using the Nerf gas. Wait for a push, drop them in the middle, slow everybody down, and either use the X-Wing to clear out some of the troops, but also throw your demolitionist on the other side. on the other side and kind of try and protect her while taking out their troops before the leader, so you get some max damage with that demolitionist. And yeah, so it's been a lot of fun so far, so stay tuned. I'll be streaming her the rest of the week, and I'll follow up with kind of the same type of video I just did here with a little recap with some of the pluses and minuses that worked for me. Yeah, so this is a lot of fun. I'm going to keep doing this every week, and I'm just going to alternate between factions. So next week I'm going to go back to Empire, and I think I'm going to go with, unless I can get some Palpatine cards to get him to level 2, I'm going to try some Dengar, because I don't think I've, between Dengar and Palpatine, I think I maybe played like 2 games with those leaders combined, and I think they were both Dengar. I don't think I've played Palpatine once. So yeah, thanks for watching. My name's Kahns. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.